The first South Korea U.S. summit under the Joe Biden administration is set to take place in Washington. For a closer analysis of the agenda expected to take center stage, we turn to our senior Cheong Wa Dae correspondent Moon Jae-in.
President Moon Jae-in will have his first summit with U.S. President Joe Biden in Washington in late May. The two sides are working to finalize the date of the talks, which come in Biden's invitation. Moon and Biden had previously talked on the phone in February and reaffirmed the need to meet in person once the COVID-19 situation eases. The Blue House says it is looking forward to in-depth discussions on ways to continue to develop the ironclad Seoul-Washington alliance, as well as measures to achieve complete denuclearization and lasting peace on the Korean Peninsula. The U.S. has been holding a comprehensive review of its North Korea policy, expected to be a key point of discussion. It's also likely that the leaders will discuss ways to bring Pyongyang back to the negotiating table, with denuclearization talks at a standstill since the Hanoi summit in 2019. The Blue House expects the summit to create fresh momentum to revive the peace process on the Korean Peninsula, especially important for President Moon, who has about a year left in office to make any meaningful progress.
I think North Korea is watching carefully whether the new Biden administration is going to continue the previous pro-engagement stance of the Trump administration, revert back to either the policy of strategic patience of the previous administration, or even more aggressive policy that puts emphasis on the military option. So depending on how the new policy outcome will turn out to be, that's going to determine the success or failure of the South Korean effort at continuing the peace process in the Korean Peninsula.
Moon and Biden are also expected to discuss South Korea-Japan ties and cooperation against COVID-19 and climate change. Observers are also eyeing whether Biden will ask South Korea to participate in the so-called Quad, which currently involves the U.S., Japan, Australia, and India, to counter China's rising influence. The White House says that President Biden is looking forward to welcoming President Moon in the second half of May. Moon's trip follows a recent 2+2 meeting of foreign and defense ministers in South Korea and a national security advisors meeting in the U.S. Kim Min-ji, Arirang News.